All right, it's showtime. Good evening and greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Black Entrepreneurs Institute live show. We are back again, and I promise you, we've got a phenomenal episode for you today. So you make sure you grab your pen and paper right now, because I'm telling you, it is going to be pure gold. So I'm here today with the illustrious, the phenomenal Dr. Nicole Ranking. Hey, Dr.
Hey, Damien. Hey, everyone. How's everyone doing?
So good to be with you today, Dr. Nick. Listen, friends, today Dr. Nick and I are running the show on behalf of our fellow co-founders, Angela Hooper Manyfield and Cedric LaFleur. And so you've got two the hard way today. And so we're super excited to be with you again. So hey, Dr. Nick. So here's the thing, right? We today is July 20th. And one thing that means is just a couple of good things happening right now. Number one is that today is actually my birthday. So I'm celebrating 4-5 today. So it's my birthday. And so,
Oh, happy birthday.
well, thank you. I can think
Awesome.
of a better way to spend my birthday than
Look
to
at
be
that.
with you doing the BEI show live. So that's one of the good things about today. But you, my friend, have a conference that is right around the
Right around the
corner.
corner. Right around the corner.
This thing has been in the works for a little while now. How's it going?
It is going well. So, for those that may not know, we have the Adulting in My Purpose. It's a virtual leadership summit that's coming on, and a little bit about me that I work with millennials and Gen Zers, and just to helping them to really discover who they are, clarify their vision, and really develop a plan and some steps to get to where they want in life. So, working with 19-year-olds all the way up to 35-year-olds, adulting, this whole adulting thing, it's hard work, right? It's hard work for even the seasoned adults. But imagine our young adults who are out there trying to figure out their purpose, trying to find how they fit in this world, and then they have society telling them that they're lazy, that they're entitled, that they're fragile and narcissistic, and all of these stereotypes that we have for this generation. So I started this whole movement called Adulting in My Purpose, and it kind of has really just evolved and took off. We started it back at the beginning of the pandemic, working with young adults and just helping them with that process of transitioning into adulthood. So, working with their leadership development, their personal growth and communication, and really just increasing their self awareness and soft skills to those skills that we need for success, not only in our personal life but also in our professional life. So what we have decided, so myself along with a group of the young adults that's in the course and a part of the movement, they decided that they want to do a leadership summit. So I said, hey, I'm all in, right? I will lead the charge. So we have been planning and working probably since the beginning of this year, coming up with ideas, and it was really strategic in having them develop a platform or an event that they want to see, right? So they
Mhm.
have selected all the speakers, they have selected the activities. It's just amazing just to see them come alive. And so this Adulting in My Purpose is a 2-day leadership summit, and we have some dynamic speakers that have agreed to come and be a part to pour into our young people. They're going to be discussing stuff on mental health, physical wellness, finances. We know young people struggle with that, finances, finding your purpose, even relationships, and just really about the holistic person of how to really adult. And so we're going to excited about that. Young people can come and they can really learn tools and strategies and get inspired and learn how to really balance that life between the personal and professional life. So it's going to be amazing, and we want all the young people, the young adults that are present in the house to just really go away transformed and inspired. A lot of them are stuck. A lot of them are, feeling overwhelmed. So we want to ease that pressure. We want to give them something that they can use to move forward to their next steps.
So when you think about, by the way, I just think it's phenomenal that you had this idea. And one of the things that I think is really interesting is because we see summits and we see conferences all the time.
Mhm.
But I think you took a really interesting approach in having the young people help craft what the summit will be like, and from the speakers to the activities. So I noticed you said activities. So can you give us a little glimpse into some of the activities that you have planned?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a new platform. So it's like virtual. People are zoomed out. So we have a wonderful new platform that allows us to do some amazing things. So we have some networking opportunities, some speed networking opportunities. We have some lounge activities where we have you're going to be matched up with people who are dealing with some of the same things that you're dealing with to have those types of conversations. And a lot of times, to alleviate stress, you just need to know that you're not alone in this whole dynamics of adulthood. So we have a portion where we're going to be matching up young people so they can talk to each other and share their experiences. Also, we looking to have some vendors that are be available that will cater to our young people. So we have a wide variety of things, giveaways, of course. People like to have stuff for free. That's going to be also available. So we're looking to have a great time.
That's awesome. So at the end of the day, when the sun sets on your conference, by the way, tell us what the date is again.
It is August 14th and 15th. It's a 2-day conference, going to be from 10 to 2 each day.
Okay. Okay. So when the sun sets on August 15th and the conference is over, what's the one thing that you want to walk away with having said, yes, we did it? What do you desire the impact of the conference to be?
Great question. And think about it's, the word that comes to mind is transformation. Right. And that's
Mhm.
all it's a big word, and it's a big buzzword. But really I want the transformation to be I have clarity on my next step. A lot of times when young people think about their life and how to adult in this whole process, they get overwhelmed because they're so focused on the big picture, right? How do I get to this big picture of who I'm supposed to be? But in order to get to the big picture, you just got to take one step at a time. So if going through this conference to 2 days and we have young people to say, at least I know my next step, then we have been successful because it's all one step at a time. That's what we want.
That's awesome. I love that. I just love your whole heart for
Yeah.
young people because, when I was in my early 20s, I thought I knew what I knew. And, when I was 21, I thought I knew everything, right? When I got to 25 and I look back at where I was when I was 21, I realized I didn't know anything. And then even when I got to 29 and I look back on where I was at 25, I was just like, I was such an idiot. I thought I was grown, right? Because
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I wish I'd have had the guidance because I think I could have avoided some of the missteps and the mistakes that I made in my early 20s. So
Mhm.
I'm all for you, and we're standing behind you, and
Thank you.
wishing you much success. So, how can people register for your conference?
Absolutely. So to register, you just go to www.adultinginmypurpose.com and just search for the conference, and you'll go from there.
www.adultinginmypurpose.com,
That's
and you
it.
can go there and register. Awesome. So before we get to our phenomenal guest tonight, I've got one additional announcement. And so, friends, if you have not heard, make sure that you begin to spread the word because we are launching our very own TV channel, and it is called Expert TV Network. And when you think about the television as a whole, you realize that more and more people are veering away from cable. And much more people nowadays consume content via some sort of streaming platform. So whether that's Netflix or Hulu or Roku, but people are going to streaming. And so we thought, because here at the Black Entrepreneurs Institute, we're all about elevating mindset and money, and we want to help Black and minority entrepreneurs win. And so we thought, what a great way, because we have this show and we have this platform, why not create a vehicle to give other people a megaphone to amplify their voice. And so as you're listening to me today, if you have a concept that you think would make a great show, we want to talk to you. We want to give you a platform, not just to be on social media. And by the way, when we're on social media, we don't even own this content, right? So we're streaming this live on Facebook. Maybe you're watching on YouTube, but you don't own the content once you put it on the social media platform. So we want to empower you to get your voice out to the masses beyond social media, and to do it in a way where you preserve the rights to your own content. And so we are launching Expert TV Network, and it's a lifestyle TV channel. So what does that really mean when we say lifestyle TV channel? What we mean is that if you are focused on health or fitness or wellness, you could be a business professional, you could be into culture and music, you could be into mindset, leadership. We want to cover the entire spectrum of what makes up for a full life. And so if you're listening to me right now, you've got an idea, we want to talk to you. Maybe you don't have the whole picture, but you're interested in launching a show and being able to bring your voice, your perspective, your expertise to the marketplace. Then we want to talk to you. And so here's what I want to do. I want you to just take a quick look at our commercial real quick, so you can see this is our promo video, because we're super excited, not just in the fact that we're launching the TV network, but especially in the impact that we can help other entrepreneurs to drive, and the message that they can bring to the people that they have a desire to serve. So let's watch the promo video. Now can you see why I'm so excited? Dr. Nick, tell us what has you excited about Expert TV.
I just love the opportunity that we see here. As you talked about it earlier, having the ability to give people a platform. When I think about impact, it's about being able to reach more people. And a lot of times we do things, but we think small, and we think maybe in our circle or maybe in our community. But when we think about having an opportunity to reach thousands of people with your gifts and talents, that right there is just amazing. So I'm really excited about that, and giving that opportunity for others to be able to have that type of impact. It's amazing.
Awesome. So if you're interested, or you know someone that you think they should be on TV, here's the link, right? www.blackentrepreneurinstitute.com/expert TV. That's how you connect with us. You submit an interest form, and then we'll schedule a time to talk about your show idea, and we'll help you get started. So come on in. It's going to be so good. All right, now let's transition. So friends, we have a phenomenal expert with us today. And let me just tell you that Tremayne Thurman is in the building, my friends. The first time I met Tremayne, it was at a pretty large event in Orlando, and we struck up a conversation, just pretty casual. And from the moment I spoke to him, it was very, very clear to me that he was certainly not your average everyday person. This gentleman is a high performer. And so I want you to pay attention as I introduce him properly. I'm going to read his bio, but what you need to know is that he's an entrepreneur, he's an influencer, an analyst, a consultant, speaker, trainer, coach. But he has a heart for people. So with no further ado, let me just read his bio and then I'll bring him on stage. So Tremayne Thurman is a son, a father, mentor, coach, professor, consultant, and a strategist. He is otherwise known as Thurman, and he is the founder of Thurman Inc., the Thurman Strategy, and 5.31 Graphics. On a day-to-day basis, Thurman mentors, coaches, and leads teams of healthcare providers, healthcare administrators, interns, and teammates towards growth and goal attainment, and that's in the healthcare space. Now, he's originally from South Carolina, and he attended the Medical University of South Carolina and received a Master of Rehabilitation Science degree with a concentration in occupational therapy. So he's been an occupational therapist for more than 17 years. And for over 11 years, he's devoted his time, his energy, and to developing leadership culture, team growth, and corporate professional development. Interestingly enough, as if that wasn't enough, right? He's also a university professor teaching management, leadership, occupational therapy to doctoral level candidates. And as a certified DISC trainer, Thurman focuses on communication styles and communication mapping. He actually is a member of the John Maxwell team, and he joined to further develop his leadership skills, and he received a certification as a speaker, coach, and trainer, and a behavioral assessor. Now, when you go to his website, here is what it says, right? It states that from success to failure, failure to success, and ideation to manifestation, the life I live and my more than incredible family of 5 is a result of intentionality, planning, patience, persistence, collaboration, and incredible creative imagination. So listen, I don't know what else to say. There's lots more I could read, but let me just bring him on stage so you can meet him for himself. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, let's welcome Mr. Thurman himself.
Hey, glad to be here, guys. Incredible, incredible. You guys are more than amazing and more than outstanding. I just want to talk about all the stuff that you guys have going on. I've just been listening to the content. I mean, from having a show that we're now branching out and to have a network where we can provide, leadership and entrepreneurship and creativity and imagination to people, to focusing on adulting. I mean, are you kidding me? This is just absolutely incredible. So I'm just excited. I'm just excited about this. And there's one word that you said, Dr. Nick. That word is purpose. And I think that word purpose encompasses everything that you guys have talked about from this time forward until now. And I'm just incredibly excited to be a part.
Awesome. Well, we are so excited to have you. So thank you for your time. And, we want to know a little bit more about you, right? Damon read your amazing bio, and we've heard you doing some amazing things, but can you just take us back? First, tell us, we talked about how you are occupational therapist, but, how did you get to where you are today, and what made you decide to become an entrepreneur?
Wow. How much time do you have? So
well,
right. Let me give you the short of that. I come from a small town where the cop has always been the priest, the judge, and the mortician. So you're talking about very small town. My father was the first Black graduate of his high school. So he takes me back in thought to whenever he played. He was a wide receiver. I believe he was a wide receiver playing football years ago. He's 71 now. And when he went to go play one of the schools locally, that coach said to my dad's coach, "Where can I get me one of those?" And my dad's coach responded and said, "We don't sell them anymore." So I'm coming way deep South, deep country. I've always had this idea, and my parents were very strategic in some of the things that they trained us on and told us to do. And his thought process was always, "Son, don't follow the crowd, create your own style." So after sitting in my first general psychology class after graduation, and I sat in my first general psychology class in a technical school at that time, I was on my way to Clemson. I wanted to be an engineer. That was my goal. Me and my mom sat with the dean. Dean went through all the books, told us what we needed to do. But when I sat in that general psych class and I heard of occupational and physical therapy, my mind totally shifted. I knew then it was a purpose, it was a call. From that day to now, when you talk about life impacting and life changing moments, I remember sitting with one of the assistant deans at that time, and she told me as a young 17-year-old African American child, or kid, should I say, how about you go to school and you be an assistant? And then after that, work a little while, build a family, and come back to school. I thought that's the worst thing you could tell a 17-year-old motivated African American. So 17 years later, I now stand to say that I defied every odd. I defied every word that was spoken. And I graduated with the highest degree held within my family and have spurned on the desire for my sister, my brother, and others after me to break what we call that generational curse, or that generational habit of not attaining, that generational thing of everybody has a kid and we have, we never finish what we do. And that's what I set out to do. So the life I live now has been an idea of just having an incredible creativity and imagination, but also very purposeful in whatever goals I wanted to obtain in life. I hope that sums it up for you.
Wow. Wow.
Amazing.
So I just love your mindset. And that was one of the things that I knew once we connected in Orlando that we would connect again. And so I'm so glad that we have the opportunity to share you tonight with our audience. So why don't you take us on a little bit of a tour through, because you've got multiple businesses. So take us on a tour through the different businesses that you run so our audience can understand why we brought you here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Wow. Okay. Where do I start? From success to failure. So let me tell you what I do day to day now. My day-to-day operation is leading a team of 14 or so healthcare providers, and that also encompasses administration as well. I sit more back in the strategic place where I guide, I mentor, I lead, I coach. I put in leadership development pieces to spur that organization, the business, on to do greater things. So surrounding myself, I have another young gentleman who actually does part of the leadership side. We really focus on mentorship. We really focus on coaching. One thing that sets our therapy practice, Revolution, apart from any other practice is while we are interested in your clinical attainment about what you can do for a client, we're most so interested in what you do professionally. How are you developing as a leader? Instead of us going to the community and pulling out other individuals to come in and to lead the organization, we like to organically grow leaders from the inside. So daily, that's what I do. So we take it and call these hands healing hands. We use these hands to forward the process of somebody getting better in the health space. However, we know everything starts with the mindset. So our whole goal is changing the mind, changing the thought. Our motto is engage, empower, and restore. So as we engage you in the process of healing and recovery, we can empower you to do what you need to then restore you back to your, should I say, previous level of health. And then I look at the team and we engage, empower, and restore them as well, because it's that mindset that we have to get everybody back to let them know that you can lead, you can do better, you can prosper, you can excel in the natural sense. And a lot of times, I guess you guys can say as well, school didn't teach us business.
Right.
School didn't teach us leadership. They taught us skill, but we use those things. So I'm finding that you have to go outside of your realm to get information, to then spur others on within the organization up to leadership. So that's the first thing we do. The second leg of what we do in Thurman Inc., or we call the Thurman Strategy, is we use all of those pieces of leadership. And whenever it's all about, the coaching as well as the training piece of getting folks in together, understanding how do they communicate? How does your communication style work within the team? How do we cut down on, should I say, the door revolving as far as folks leaving the organization because somebody's upset or because something didn't mesh well. So while we know that there'll be some level of by the way, we live in a military town here in Fort Bragg, so we do see a rotation every 2 to 3 years. So we know that sometimes there are going to be folks that exit, but we want you to exit with the right mindset, knowing that we did above and beyond as an employer to take care of you. So it's all about changing the mindset of people. The third thing we do is we believe that multifaceted business or multi streams of income or multi streams of wealth. So not only we do the rehab side, we do the leadership side, and we're also responsible for our own branding and our own marketing. All our wares that you see us wearing, or all our gear, we actually use our own creative imagination and our creativity to then design, cultivate, and put out our own product that our clients wear, our teams wear, and that it then gets our message and gets our name out into the community. So we're all about it. We do the marketing, the branding, the leadership, as well as the healthcare. We like to think of ourselves as a one-stop shop for everything that you need.
Wow.
Wow. That is just amazing. And you spoke so heavily on the mindset, and as you said, being in the leadership space, we know that as a man thinketh, so is he. So you change the mind, you can change somebody's life. So in thinking about your personal development, how do you continue to learn in order to stay on top of things within your role?
Oh, wow. I'm a reader. Daily, I read. Well, I'll be honest with you. My wife says I'm more of a listener than a reader. I'm an audiobook like geek. So audiobooks is my thing. Going to work, coming from work, while at work. I'm an audiobook guy. That's first. And then I have a lot of accountability partnerships. I have gentlemen that I connect with daily. One thing I've learned is this. I've learned in life that you have many mentors. So there's somebody that mentors us in finance. There's one person that mentors me in relationship, in marriage. There's another person that mentors me in leadership. There's another person that mentors me, should I say, in auto mechanic stuff when I don't want to pay somebody to do it and I just want to put my hands to it if I have the time. So I believe in life we have many mentors. So daily I'm connected. I believe in you feeding the three parts of man: your soul, your spirit, and your body. So how do you feed your soul? You got to be in tune with what's going on around you. You know, when I say what's going on around you, what's going on in the news, maybe a little snippet of a day, not a lot of it, but just enough to be able to conversate with people. Then you feed your spirit. So daily, I'm a Proverbs guy. I read the book of Proverbs daily. Proverbs 13 and 22 is what I kind of rest on, where, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. So in my mind, I'm always thinking, what am I doing to better my children's children? What am I leaving behind? If I were to leave the earth today, what do I have that they could now start something and not have to struggle like I did? You know what I mean? And, and I say struggle like I did because my mind wasn't there yet. So I believe that monetarily they'll do well, but I need to change this first. And then you feed the physical side of the man by either exercising and eating right or doing whatever you need to. So I believe in those three parts. So daily, I'm either reading, I journal absolutely every day. For the past, I think 8 years, I've been journaling. So the day that I die, my kids can go back into daddy's journal and find out what I was thinking on July the 20th, July the 21st, July the 23rd, 2021, and say, man, I knew what he was doing. And that's what I love so much about it.
Awesome.
Wow. I just love that. Wow. So Tremayne, let me ask you this question. You know, talk to us a little bit about some of the challenges that you have had to face in entrepreneurship, because there's a lot of people that they want to get into running their own business, but a lot of times they're doing it to escape from the corporate world, if you will. But sometimes they're doing that with rose-colored sunglasses, and they're thinking that when they get into entrepreneurship, they're going to have freedom. And yes, there is freedom in entrepreneurship, but freedom often comes with a price. So talk to us about some of the challenges that you've had to navigate, real challenges in running and sustaining what now is multiple businesses.
Real challenges. I would say my biggest challenge and my biggest failure was not having accountability. I remember the first business me and my wife ventured on. We wrote in the business, got an EIN, did everything we needed to, incorporated it years before we actually used it. Went out, used it, and did incredibly, I'm telling you, incredibly well. Made the most money I think I've ever made between my 26 and 32 years of life on this earth, but lost every dime. And I don't mean lost every dime, lost it also in the negative. I mean, like really lost it, like lost it so much that I almost lost everything. And and when I speak of that, almost losing the house, almost losing, you know, your cars, your automobile, eventually losing the business because I didn't have accountability. I only answered to myself, and that was the problem. So that was a very strategic move where I understood that there are three people or three main sets of people you need to have in life. You need an incredible attorney, you need a great accountant, and you need a board of directors. You need those three things because they hold you accountable. While I believe that you should be accountable to yourself, I also think that when you have other people that hold you accountable, it 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 forces you somehow to then take in some of the information and knowledge that they've had through their experience, process it through your own life or through my life, and then spit out this incredible idea or incredible new project that can now transcend ages and transcend, populations, and you just name it, only because you now have not just your mindset, but also the creativity, idea, and also the advice of others. So that's first. The second thing I also learned in failing in business as well is that you can't have an affair with the business and then think that things are going to be right at home. What do I mean by that? I took more care of the business, making sure everybody else was paid. Even and I'm being very careful as I say this. Some people care about you in business and want to see you survive and excel. Other folks are 9-to-5 people. So at times I was taking care of the business for even people and taking care of people who cared less about us, only to the own hurt of my own family. So what I realized very importantly, and I told the team this on last week, is that number one, please don't take this the wrong way, is how I preface the conversation. But I said, look, I could care less what anybody else thinks about me. The first person who matters is my wife. Second, my children, my faith. Everybody else can take a back seat. Why? Is because at the end of the day, whether you're here or not, I still have a wife and I still have kids that are my legacy that are behind me. So while I will take care of my responsibility here at the office, I have to make sure that I've taken care of my responsibility at home. So I realized then that home needs to be synonymous with the office, in the sense of, if home says that ain't happened at the office, or that should not happen, or that's not the right way we should go, don't override it. Because she's the reason, my 16 years of marriage, she's the reason why we're here where we are right now. And we make decisions together so that we prosper together.
Awesome.
Wow. Friends, I hope you are taking notes. That last segment right there, these last few minutes have been worth the entire price of admission. You need to make a note of that, and you need to etch that in your heart. Hide those words in your heart, because that was powerful, Tremayne. Really, really, that was pure gold, pure gold.
Awesome. You speak to a lot of pain points that many entrepreneurs face in the struggle of balancing entrepreneurship, family life, and just trying to figure it all out. So you talked about some of the struggles that you have overcome, the loss that you have overcome, and your triumphant to success and where you are, and the confidence that you have now. But so many times new entrepreneurs are so quick to give up. They're so quick to throw in the towel, and we have here on Black Entrepreneurs Institute a wide variety of entrepreneurs that watch the show. So what advice would you give someone right now that's really questioning whether they should give up or not?
Wow. The first thing I usually say is fail and fail fast.
Mm.
After you fail fast, see it as a learn. Learn from it, number one. Number two, don't do like I did, hiding it, covering it up,
Mm.
concerned about everybody else thought, concerned if folks are going to walk out. Get somebody that you really trust and you believe in and ask them to hold you accountable. Find somebody that you can trust unequivocally, that you can be just very transparent with, that you know is not going to tell your story around town, who is not a blabbermouth, right? You want somebody who you can trust because we do business with people we know, like, and trust.
Mhm.
Find that person, be very transparent. And what you'll find is in life, in business and success, it's not what you know, but it's who you know.
Oh, you know.
When you find those things and you put those things in place and you're willing to be absolutely incredibly transparent, and at the end of the day, you realize that it's kind of worth it to then connect with other people, I think you have great success. But you know, there's this other part of me that I get from my father-in-law that says, if you think you're going to fail, you probably will, because your mind hasn't changed. So
Mm.
you gotta reboot the mind. You gotta make a change here. And once you make that change here, I'm telling you, life begins to happen.
Wow. Tremaine, I think that that's interesting, and because one of the themes that is emerging from what you've shared is the importance of accountability. But here in this last couple of minutes, you also mentioned another critical concept, which has to go in tandem with accountability, which is vulnerability, right? Because at the end of the day, you can have accountability partners, but you are only going to be as accountable as you choose to be. So
Absolutely.
having accountability and knowing that, listen, when I show up, I'm not showing up just for the sake of it. I really need some help, and being willing to be able to, in a phrase, undress yourself and allow someone else to be able to see some of the not so pretty parts so that you can get the help that you need. I think that's critically important. Matter of fact, I think you might be one of the first uh, guests that we've had on the show that's really kind of hit the nail on the head when it comes to accountability. I don't think anyone has hit it as hard as you have, but then you've traveled through a lot.
Hey,
So,
listen, if I knew what I knew now, what I knew then, I'd be unstoppable.
okay.
Mm.
Now, this next question I want to ask you, because I want our audience to be able to see into the thought process of an entrepreneur. So here's the question: if you had an extra $100,000 right now, how would you deploy that capital?
Mm,
And what's the thought process behind it?
wow, an extra $100,000 right now. Hmm. Hmm. Let me tell you my thought process. It kind of goes between two ideas. I believe that everything you receive is a seed. I believe that if if I took that extra $100,000 and I added a few more members to my team, I could take an extra 100,000 and I could probably bring in a million or two. Why? Is because then I'm able to expand operations, right? Place those other leaders in place, and then use that as a seed to then grow business more. There's another thought process that says having an extra 100,000, since God is not making any more land. I mean, no more land, no more water. We got what we got, right? Why not buy a piece of property as an investment tool, as an extra idea for the business to then bring in another stream that's absolutely totally different, but that we're well versed in,
Mm.
to bring in a new level of wealth?
Mm,
Amazing.
I love that thought
I,
process.
you know what? I do too. I do too. You have been through a lot, and you have gained a lot of wisdom and a lot of knowledge along your journey. So let me ask you this: if there was a book to be written about you, what would be the title, and then what would the content of the book contain?
Wow, that's amazing. I think that's a divine question. I would entitle it The Thurman Strategy.
Hmm.
And let me tell you why. I believe that there's many ways to whatever point and direction that you're going to, but it's just my strategy. And I believe that my strategy has brought immense success to me. Now, everybody might not read it, but it would be the book that would be a required read every year for my kids. My kids are the one, my son, I tell you, he's reading the 17 highly effective habits of teens, and he's 9 years old whenever he started it. I pay him the ISBN to read it. He doesn't get paid to throw out trash. He doesn't get paid to clean up his room or the kitchen. So he gets paid for that. So that would be the read. I would call it that. There's another book idea that came the other day. I was telling my wife, but I would definitely call it that. And the reason why is because it tells my story. And I believe that there's so much wealth that could be gained in a story, especially for me, because I was the one that was told you won't succeed. I was the one that was told you can't do it. I was the one who had a stuttering problem in elementary school. You know, I was that guy. And I've been able to overcome those fiery situations to then connect. But I always believe, and I'm a very extremely optimistic person. If I tell you that there's gold on the moon, that's because I believe it. You may not, but I think that there's some there. There's going to be some there when I get there, even if I got to carry it myself. And that's just what I believe. So I'm incredibly optimistic.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to be look forward to that book.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's coming soon.
Oh my! You put the pressure on. Put the pressure on.
Yeah, you put words on it, right? No,
That's
so
right. I have a feeling.
There you go.
speak it into existence. So Tremayne, you know, as we wrap up and come down to the last few minutes of our time together, I want you to look into the camera, directly into your camera, and I want you to speak to our audience, and I want you to give us the top three skill sets. The top three Thurman Strategy skill sets to becoming successful in entrepreneurship. I want you to speak directly from your heart to the audience.
Wow. Okay. The top three. Number one, live your life in segments. Or should I say live your day in segments? What does that mean? We often talk about if we had more time to do something, what we would do. Follow one of the paths I use. I realize that I wake up between 3 and 5 in the morning. That's where I build my spirit. That's where I build my leadership. That's where I get my personal development from. Then I move on and I do my call, my purpose here on this earth. I serve people. Then when I get home, my next level is taking care of family. That's that next sector. And then that last but not least sector is my creativity time, taking that time each day to then have some creativity time to do nothing associated with work or the office or whatever. But it's that creative energy that's in you, using that time to do something creative. And then my last step at night is to be with my wife. When I live my life in segments, I find that I get more value. So it's not that you don't have the time. It's how are you managing your time? I've always learned that when you die, that's when you sleep. So use the time you have now, invest it in self, the people around you, but don't forget home. Live life in segments. Number two, I would say my next thing is to be incredibly connected with either 1, 2, 3, 4 groups of people where you can be transparent, absolutely vulnerable, and that they'll hold you accountable. But remember, they have to be people that you can trust, that you believe in, and that not only, will hold you accountable, but that won't tell everybody your story. So you got the segments in life, one. Number two, you have the whole idea of connecting with others for accountability's sake. And then third, wow, that third piece is a word I live by, and I've been finding that I had to do this daily. So I use a journal to do it, and maybe you can do the same. The law of diminishing intent states that if you don't do it now, it's less likely that you're going to do it later. In my summarization, right?
Mm-hmm.
Journal, write down, realize that a short pencil is better than a long memory. You will not remember everything. write information down so that you can always get back to it, because God gives you ideas, but God is not obligated to repeat himself. So when he gives you something, write it, establish it, revisit it, because that idea could be the idea that not only changes your life, but your legacy, your generation, and those that come after you, for corporate family wealth, corporate family prosperity forever. That's me.
Wow.
Yes, wow. That was so good.
So powerful, such an inspiration. Live a segment life, connect with those for accountability, and journal your ideas. Three powerful ways that can take somebody to the next level. Such an amazing thing. You know, we want to make sure that our audience and us have the information to learn more about you and stay connected to you. So, how can our audience learn more about you, and where can we find you?
Wow. Okay, great. Awesome. If you want to follow me and you can connect with me, I would love to connect with you daily. You can connect with me at the Thurman Strategy. You can find us there on Facebook, IG, as well as Twitter. You'll see it coming across the screen. And our website is thethurmanstrategy.com. So would love to connect with you and grow with you.
Wow. So, Tremayne, I gotta just say thank you, man. This was an amazing show, and I think I'm gonna have to go back and watch this a couple of times because there were some mic drop moments there. I love when you said that, you know, God is not obligated to repeat Himself. I thought that was so powerful. So write it down, right? Capture those ideas. And so just thank you for the time. I had high expectations for our time together, but you absolutely exceeded our expectations. Nicole, real quick, what were some of the points that Tremayne made that really kind of spoke to you?
Yeah, I mean, there was so many. I think the main thing when you talked about is the focus on the family. So a lot of times as business owner, we get so caught up of working in our business that we're just so consumed and we forget about all areas of our life. And to know that God has created us whole, right? He has created us fearfully and wonderfully. And there are other things in life that he wants us to do. So I love the fact that you talked about, I love the segment part because it helps people get an idea of how can I manage myself and be effective, not only in my business, but in my life, and kind of hit every area of the wholeness of who I am. So that for me was really powerful because, you know, even I can be transparent as an entrepreneur. When I was work all the time, work all the time. And I felt guilty when I wanted to take a break. You know, somehow I guilted myself like that's not what entrepreneurs do. We work all the time. But the fact that you talked about it, you spoke into that. I think that one was really, really powerful and will help a lot of people.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. So friends, we are wrapping up our show today. So you see on the screen down there below the ways that you can connect with Thurman. So make sure you go ahead and reach out to him. If there's anything that he said that spoke to you, make sure you drop him a message and let him know what that deposit has meant to you. But we also want to remind you that we are taking applications of interest for your show on Expert TV, because in BEI, I always like to say that we believe it's a bigger win when we help others learn how to win. And so if you have just been dreaming, maybe it's an idea that you haven't even spoken out loud to your friends, to your family, but you have an idea that's itching in the corner of your heart and you want to scratch it. Let's talk about your show idea, because right now we are launching Expert TV. You can have your own show. You can do a whole season. We're going to give you lots of options. And if you, matter of fact, Tremayne, I'm even going to say to you that I think you should have a show, my brother. You are
absolutely.
Yeah, I think you've got a message.
I concur.
Need to hear, not just because we're doing Expert TV, but I honestly thought that this was one of the more powerful shows that we've done. So for friends, if you have a show idea, let's talk about it. Let's get your message out to the masses. Let's get you on the airways so that you can impact the people that you are called to impact, and ultimately be able to attract more eyes on your business, on your purpose. So the link is right below. The site is blackentrepreneurinstitute.com youtube.com/expert TV. We want to thank you so much for joining us today. So on behalf of Dr. Nicole Rankin, Cedric LaFleur, and Angela Hooper-Manyfield, thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next week. Remember, the replay is on Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. But until then, think about your show idea and connect with us at the link below. We'll see you next time, my friends. And so, Tremayne, thanks for being here.
Thank
Everyone,
you.
bye for now.
Bye, everyone.